Mm. Ashe, Ashe. Maferefun Egun. Praise be to the ancestors. Hello, storytellers. Welcome back to Storytelling Tarot. My name is Jeida K, and I'm so excited that you're with me today. We are here for the 9th day of Divcember, which is the tarot twist on Vlogmas, where we are taking every day to get a word and to prepare us for the year ahead. I'm so glad that you're back with me today. I'm excited because we are doing a little time traveling today, which is my favorite thing because you know, and if you didn't know, you're going to find out that time is not linear. And so I'm excited to do any type of time travel. In fact, honestly, I think that divination in and of itself is a bit of playing with time because we are often looking into the future. We're also gleaning and grabbing things from the past. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. I hope that you like the video. Literal like with the thumbs up button. And if you are interested in this type of thing, then subscribe. We've been doing this for 9 days now, and we have a few more weeks to go. So definitely join us here at the Storytelling Tarot fam. And if you are already family, already kin to me, thank you so much for being here with me again. It's been a journey, and I'm so excited to go on today's particular journey with you. So let's buckle in. Something I realized that I haven't been doing this whole time is I haven't said anything about my books. My books are open for readings. And if you book in the month of December, then you can enjoy 15% off of select readings when you redeem code DIVD23. I will make sure that I include that in the description box and also in the comment section. So if you book a reading with me, DivD23 will save you 15% off your readings. So if these collective readings have been resonating with you, then perhaps it's time to book a one-on-one. I would love to have you at my tarot table. So I haven't shown my favorite mug yet, but I'm telling you, this one is gonna be like top 3. Do you see how big? Let me pull it back so you can see. This is huge. And you know why I really love this? It reminds me of something that I would see like at my grandma's house. Like maybe not this red color, but like this just reminds me of like those dishes that like my grandma would cook in. So I really like this. This kind of gives me a little bit of nostalgia, but I really like this. So this is my mug for the day. All right, let's get into these ancestral messages. So I said today that we're going to be doing a little time traveling. And the reason why I said that is because today our card is going back to the future. Going back to the future. And I really like this card because in this messaging, because it is speaking about something that I talked about a little bit. I think it was day 7 when we talked about healing. I quoted my sister, Sarah Makiba Days, who says that we heal ourselves backwards and forwards. And meaning that as we do our intentional healing work, we are not only blessing and healing ourselves, we are blessing our descendants, those who have not even made it here to this timeline, those who have not even incarnated yet. And we're also doing this work for our ancestors who have already lived. We are also doing this for the elders, those who are still in the land of the living and who are still dealing with life and having to go through their own healing journeys. But we are doing a lot of shaking up as we continue to do our own healing and our own shadow work and our own mending and tending. So if you have been on your healing journey, I don't care if it's been an hour, if it's been a day, or if it's been 10 years. Good job, because what you're doing is sowing seeds, and those seeds will bloom and they will grow and flourish. And so you have people in your lineage who will have you to thank, and that's amazing. So in going back to the future, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about how we are gathering our tools and our wisdom from our ancestors and our elders, and how we can then start to lay a steady foundation for those who will follow us. Whether we have biological children or not, it doesn't matter. They can still reap the benefits of the work that we're doing today. And so it's really interesting. I think that we focus a lot on healing and development and shadow work and childhood traumas and healing from abuse and harm and all those really hard things, which is necessary, right? But when's the last time you allowed yourself to really celebrate and praise how your family has survived? I think about how growing up in church, we would hear people say often, "Not today, Satan." And this phrase is like a gotcha when the powers that be tried to bury you and they couldn't. Not today, Satan. I'm thinking about all the times that we were protected from all manner of evil. Not today, Satan. I think about the times that my grandmother, who was a single mother and was able to make ends meet so that they could eat, so that they could survive. I like to think that's her way of saying, not today, Satan. I think about how my other grandmother, when she was on her sickbed, I remember going to my altar and I prayed. And when she became well again, that was my way of saying, not today, Satan. And so it's a very churchy colloquialism, a saying that we say to buck up against anything that would try to destroy us. Whether you believe in Satan or not is not the point. Because every time I put on my mask, when I leave my house, I'm saying, not today, Satan, because that is a part of my survival. Every time I pray over my family, I'm saying, not today, Satan. What is your not today, Satan? What is the story in your family, in your lineage, as you think back on how y'all survived, on how y'all made it, on how y'all won? Those are the stories that we need to be going back to get, because we need the testimony. We need that word to say that we've already won before, so we are capable of winning again. And those same ancestors who were brilliant, who were savvy and resourceful, their blood runs through you. So what they could do, you can do. So go back and get it. Go back and get their wisdom. Go back and get their gifts. Go back and get their spiritual technologies. Go back and get their tools. Go back and get everything that your ancestors laid out for you. You have a blueprint. It is tattooed in your DNA. Go back and get it and take it to the future. If you're still with me, I would love if you could click that like button. And if this is your first time and you like this type of thing, consider subscribing. We would love to make you a part of the Storytelling Tarot fam. Let's get into our tarot cards for the day. So our 2023 reflection is the world. The world, which I love, because we were just talking about going back and getting it. And we were talking about our ancestors giving us gifts, access to things, access to wins, or at least access to hope, so that we could see how to win through watching them, through being related, right? It's almost like the story in the Bible when Jesus was walking through the crowd and the woman with the issue of blood said, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, if I could just touch the hem of his robe, I know I will be healed. That is the power of going back to the future. That is going back and getting it, because we know if we could just communicate and just rub up against the ashe in our own lineages, I know I can be healed. I know I can thrive. I know I will survive because I saw my mama getting up and going to work. I saw my mama going through it. I saw my dad working through hours night after night to make sure that we had food on the table. I saw my grandmother ensuring that all of these things were laid out so her kids would not go without. Enter your own family story. Enter your own family testimony. If you just touch the hem of those garments, those stories, those narratives in your family and your ancestry, baby, you will contact power that is unique to you and your line. If you don't go back and get it, who will? And so we come to the reflection of the world. The world is a card that I love so much because it reminds me of this story that I read in the slave narratives from Georgia, which I'm from. And I'm also, you probably can't see it, but I'm wearing my Georgia state because I'm a proud alum. In these narratives, there's a story which I wish that I could recall the name of the ancestor who was telling it. But we're going to time travel and we're going to go back to that place. She was speaking about living on a plantation in Georgia. And on this plantation, she said that right around the time when it would get really cold, the winter was coming. So right around this time. And so what the enslaved folks would do, those who were working in the house and those who were working in the field, they needed something warm to keep themselves safe and well during those hard, cold months. And so the women would gather every night to quilt for their families to ensure that everyone had a warm quilt for the winter. The women would gather in one home. They would all come together and they would all quilt together until that family had someplace warm to snuggle up in. And the next night, the enslaved folks would come in from the house and come in from the fields, and they would go to the next family's home, and they would quilt, and they would quilt, and they would share. And I imagine that they would rock, and they would moan, and they would sing, and they would laugh, and they would relate, and they would connect, and they would dance, and they would cry, and they would be with one another until that family had a completed quilt. And it would happen all over the plantation until everyone had what they needed. For me, that is the world. In the typical reading of the world card, it is about one person's graduation, one person's elevation, one person's big to-do. But the Black, African, and indigenous ways show us that we don't make it anywhere on our own. We don't make it anywhere without the people who came before us. And so, every family, every enslaved person had warm quilts because of those women. The spirit of the Madama coming together to quilt. That is the world. People coming together to quilt, to stitch their stories together, to wrap it around you. Imagine yourself, your ancestors coming to don their patchwork on you to say, yes, this is when they came and tried to attack us and we fought back and won. This is when I told that harmful boss where they could go. This is when I prayed all night until the pain went away. This is when I saw the eviction notice and my neighbors came and they brought all their money and pulled it together and we were able to live there for another month. This was when people came and showed up for me. And this is why our ancestors show up for us. The world, the lesson is we make it nowhere without our ancestors, which is why we should always reach out to help one another. We need each other. That is the reflection. How this will help us in the year forward, we have the Five of Swords, and it was reversed. The Five of Swords reversed, let's pull that back. The Five of Swords reversed is about reconciliation. It's about positive change. It's about peace coming back. The things that were hard, the truths that were intense, it's about calm after the storm. And so as we reach back and get those success stories and survival stories from our ancestry, we then can live a life of more peace because they have given us the blueprint. It's tattooed in our DNA. And we get to live as though we understand the power of our lineage and how much further it will go as we continue our healing and continue our thriving. Ashe, ashe. Maferefun egun. Praise be to the ancestors. Here's our reflection question for the day. Let's talk up our ancestors. Let's talk up our lineage. You can share as much or as little as you like, but I would love to hear about how one of your elders, family members, or ancestors, tell me one of their survival stories. Tell me how they made it through. Tell me something about their character. Tell me one of their success stories. Tell me something amazing about them that you want to emulate or that you want to achieve or that you want to take even further. And if you're curious, mine is already in the comments. I hope that you spend some time loving on your beautiful, wonderful ancestors who, although weren't perfect, they left us a blueprint of what to do and what to avoid. And we give thanks for them for that. You go back and get it. You go back to the future. You might be surprised what you find. All right, my loves. We'll see you tomorrow.